we were talking about this during the break as well, and I don't think I'll get in trouble generally for making the observation that I didn't watch a second of any pregame shows yesterday. Netflix had a 2-hour pregame show. Like, who the hell, all due respect, who's going to tune in on Christmas Day to watch a 2-hour pregame show before a regular season game? It's not a playoff game. It's not the Super Bowl. And it's Christmas morning. You're tuning in at 12:59 to watch the game. So, again, I know our colleague Devin McCourty was part of it.
Yeah, thanks
for
watching.
He got paid well.
I was watching.
Hopefully he got paid well.
Good friend.
But screw that. I'm not. It's Christmas morning. I'm not going to watch. I'm not big on pregame shows anyway, except for the information that I get on Twitter. So that doesn't matter either. But regardless, the point is this. Apparently ESPN had a pregame show. I don't know because I didn't tune that in either. But Shefty reported yesterday that Pete Carroll has expressed interest in coaching the Bears and that Pete Carroll wants to come back next year. And Shefty and I got a little sideways because it had all the fingerprints, all the earmarks, all the aroma of somebody asking Shefty to do a favor. Let's get Pete's name out there. Pete's expressed interest in the Bears job. Well, who cares? I've expressed interest in the Bears job. I mean, I haven't, but you can express interest. It doesn't matter until the team expresses interest in you. And we've all kind of thought Pete's waiting. You know, he never came out and said it back in August when there was news that he's going to go teach a class at USC. But, I mean, come on, the guy wants the phone to ring. He wants the phone to ring. Why wouldn't he? He's won a Super Bowl. Everybody's talking about Belichick. Why aren't we talking about Pete Carroll? But this idea that it's some big scoop that Pete Carroll wants back in and he's expressed interest in a job that they're not going to hire him for, that to me is a little much.
Well, did you get in it? Like get in like a Twitter battle here yesterday?
Don't act like you don't know.
I
asshole.
don't. I did not look at one thing, but like. What? So you can't watch a pregame show, but you can get into petty bullcrap on Twitter? That's your thing there?
It wasn't petty.
Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty petty for Christmas Day. It is news. I mean, nobody cares if you want the Bears job. You write. He's a coach that won a national championship and has been in two Super Bowls.
He wants any job,
and he's putting his name out there. Way to go. Good reporting, Adam Schefter. That's what I'll say. I wanted to hear that.
Okay.
That was good.
Get the text message from the agent and post the story.
Okay,
I mean, I know how the sausage is made.
Great.
I know how the sausage is made.
And you've made some sausage before, so get over it.
Well,
sausage
no, but
maker?
there's certain times where I reject the ingredients because I'm not going to be used by someone as part of a broader dance that gets done to keep the free flow of information coming. And it's funny because on Monday, Aaron Rodgers on ESPN Air, assuming it happened before Pat McAfee's show shifted over to exclusive YouTube because that happens at some point in the afternoon, he suggested that there are quid pro quos in this space, and he wondered aloud whether or not Shefty's engaged in quid pro quos. So it seemed to me gutsy, to say the least, for him to fashion a report in a way that gave off the whiff of quid pro quo. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But it fit with the whole, remember when he got crossways with the world because he was propping up Deshaun Watson after Deshaun Watson wasn't indicted, and he put some stuff out there that just seemed incredibly tone deaf. And then he was carrying water for Dalvin Cook at one point when there was a legal issue. And everyone kind of saw through that as you're doing the agent a favor because that's where you're getting your information from, so let's do the agent a favor. So anyway, that's the background to all of it. So it's not unreasonable to read that report and say this is just Pete Carroll's agent or Pete Carroll directly manipulating the media to get the word out. He should be a candidate. He doesn't need any of us to say it. Let's see if the owners bring him in. There's a real ageism issue in the NFL. Bill Belichick, I don't know, maybe he is affected by it because no one was interested in him last year. He got one interview.
Yeah,
But Pete Carroll should be considered. Pete Carroll should get an opportunity if he wants one. Pete Carroll transforms into a 25-year-old when it's time to go out on the field before a game, so his age doesn't matter. And he's won a Super Bowl without Tom Brady as his quarterback.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, listen, this is how it works. He wants to get his name in there. He wants to see if he can get a groundswell and a little publicity around it to where people are like, oh, that does sound like a good idea, whatever it may be. So I get that. But, yeah, his age is definitely going to be an issue. Certainly, I know he's still young on the sidelines, but added to that, too, he's also not Belichick where he's like the X's and O's guy. That's not what he is. He's kind of an overseer at this point in his career. And I don't think that's necessarily going to be like some teams aren't going to want that. They don't want that right now as far as their head coach. They don't want overseer. They want really good offensive coordinator who's head coach or defensive coordinator that's head coach. And I could see that's where teams are between that and the age are a little turned off by it all.
And here's the reality as it relates to the Bears. One thing that I learned while like affirmatively going out and trying to find things out instead of just sitting around and waiting for whatever someone texts me, the Bears' top priority is Caleb Williams. And they won't come out and say they're going to hire an offensive coach. They're keeping their mind open and their options open. But Pete Carroll is not the guy you hire.
Absolutely not.
If you're trying to establish a 10-year bond with Caleb Williams and get the most out of Caleb Williams, he's just not the guy you hire. Maybe somebody else hires him, but if you've got and I don't want to slam the door entirely on defensive coaches. There are certain teams where it makes sense. If you've got young quarterback that you are intent on developing into franchise quarterback, you need an offensive coach. Because if you hire a defensive coach and it works with the offensive coordinator, you got to go find another one, right? Cliff Kingsbury, if he gets one of these jobs because of the work he's done with Jaden Daniels, hey, Dan Quinn, you got to find somebody else to continue the work with Jaden Daniels. You don't want that. You want Sean Payton, Drew Brees slapped together for 15 years. That's ideally what you want when you think you have a franchise quarterback.
No, I get that, but that's also why we have some horrible hires sometimes at head coach because we just go, we want an offensive coach, and I go, his offense sucks, but just because it was a good statistical year, like all of a sudden he's a head coach, and then the team goes, well, we thought he had a good year when we hired him. And no, it sucked. It sucked. He just got the right team, the right schedule that year, and it worked out, and they make the wrong decision. But listen, I hear what you're saying. You're generally right, but there's still some good defensive head coaches out there.
You know what I think they should do?
Yeah.
They should pick up the phone, and they should start calling around to current NFL coaches who are offensive-minded, and I'd start with Jed York, who almost traded Jim Harbaugh 11 years ago to the Browns, just to see, is there a way we can bring Kyle to the town where his dad grew up? That's just see. Troy Aikman's on board with it. Let's see if that happens. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.